Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scriptures. If you find some of the terminology difficult or inaccessible, then go over to our Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll be able to find other content which is perhaps more relatable. Thank you and enjoy the wisdom that breathes.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. A little louder, please. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. It's really my honor, my joy to be with all of you this evening. Australia has been wonderful. Today we were out meeting many different people, sharing spiritual wisdom. And I grew up in London. Thank you to Bhakta Prabhu for his wonderful warm welcome. And it's really been a warm welcome here in Australia. As I mentioned, I was born in London, and still nowadays I spend most of my time there, but traveling across the world, trying to learn and also share what I learn along the way. So I'm very happy to be with you here. Today we're talking about struggle. Anyone here struggling? Okay. One time Srila Prabhupada, he was in a car and they were going to a local park and they got stuck in a traffic jam. So as they were stuck in the traffic jam, they looked outside of the window and there was a sign. And it said, temporary roadworks, temporary inconvenience, permanent solutions. So Srila Prabhupada began to laugh and he said, material world means temporary solutions, permanent inconvenience. So struggle, obstacles, difficulties, unexpected things are a part of life. They say if you want to make Krishna laugh, just tell him your plans. But still, Krishna's plan is always better. So today we'll reflect a little bit on this. But before that, we'll just chant and remember Krishna who resides in Sri Vrindavan Dham, inviting each one of us to come back to that place. Would you like to go, Sri Vrindavan? Or you want to stay in Melbourne? Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Gaja Janarandana. Yashoda Nandana Gaja Janarandana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Aschatyageshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. So thank you again everyone for coming. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. So today we are discussing something which is very much a part of each and every one of our lives. Every day when we wake up in the morning, none of us plan for struggle to come. None of us plan for obstacles. None of us plan for problems or issues. But somehow or other, they always appear in our life. Once there was a car and it had a sign, "Do not disturb, already disturbed." So the disturbance is there from the world we're living in, and today I'll try to share with you some thoughts, some meditation, some ideas of how to deal with struggle when that reality appears in our life, often when we don't plan for it. A king, once he summoned all of his subjects in the kingdom and he told them, "I want you to give me something that will make me happy when I'm sad and sad when I'm happy. I want you to think, what could make you happy when you're sad and sad when you're happy?" Once I was addressing an audience and without the blink of an eyelid, one lady jumped up and said, "Marriage." I said, "I hope your husband's not sitting here." After the king told all of his subjects, "I want you to give me something," everyone was baffled, confused. What could you possibly give that could achieve this? And one person came back to the king and he said, "I've got the answer." And he presented the king with a box. And the king said, "The box? What's the box going to do?" He said, "Open the box." And in the box there was a ring. And on that ring there were 4 words. The person told the king, "Just put this on your finger, and every time you're happy, look at it. And every time you're sad, look at it. And your emotions will change." Because that ring had 4 words on it. "This too shall pass." Think about that for a moment. When you're happy, stay balanced. Because the waves of the material world means things will change. And in the same way, when you're going through difficulty, when you're going through challenge, probably many of you are sitting here today and there are many challenges and many things you'd love to change in your life. Don't worry. In time, those things will also disappear. Krishna already told this to Arjuna thousands of years ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Matra sparshastu konteya sitoshna sukadukada agama paino nityas tamstitikshashva bharata. Krishna says, "Arjuna, relax. Happiness and distress, sukh and dukh, come to you like the winter and summer seasons.
isn't it? In every year there are 4 seasons. In London there's only one season, rain. But mostly there are 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, autumn, and everything goes in a cycle. Krishna says, just as the seasons change, your fortunes will also change. Nothing in this world is temporary. Everything is ephemeral, everything is transitory. And therefore, Krishna says, remain tolerant. But it's hard, because our life is like this. It's a cup, and it's full of difficulties. A teacher once brought a cup in front of the students, which was half filled with water, and the teacher said, how heavy is this cup? Someone said 5 ounces, someone said 10 ounces. The teacher said, you're all wrong. This cup is as heavy as how long you hold it for. It's not the amount of water in the cup that makes it heavy. No, no, no. It's the amount of time that you hold on to it for. And each of our lives is like a cup. And each of our lives has an amount of water in it. And that water represents the difficulties, the disappointments, the obstacles, and the changes that we never expected. Everyone has their fair share. Don't think my life is worse than someone else's life. Because you know what? They're probably thinking that their life is worse than yours. What makes the cup heavy is how long we hold on to all of this in our mind for. Because what all of these things do is they create within us something called the victim mentality. The real cause of suffering is actually our own mentality. In the ancient Bhagavatam, there is the story of an Avanti Brahmana who suffered so much in his life. And at the end of his life, you know what his realization was? Nayam jano me sukha dukha hetur na devatatma griha karma kalaha mana param karanama mananti samsara chakram parivartayadyat. He said, I was reflecting, why did I suffer in my life? Nayam jano, other people are not the cause of my suffering. Don't blame it on your mother-in-law. Nayam jano me sukha dukha hetur. Other people are not the cause of my suffering, I've realized. Na deva. I realized the demigods, they are not the cause of my suffering. Graha. I realized my planets are not the cause of the suffering. Isn't it? Someone says, Prabhu, astrology, very bad. No, na graha. He says, na kala. I used to think time was the cause of my suffering because in time everyone suffers. I was wrong. Na karma. I thought that karma was the cause of my suffering. I was wrong. None of these things are the cause of my suffering. Then what? Mana param karanam amananti samsara chakram parivartayet yat. The param karanam, the ultimate cause, is my own mana, my own mentality, my own mind. Dear friends, it's only our mind that is causing us suffering. And therefore, relief from suffering doesn't come from a change in the external world. Every single person in this world is running around thinking, if I get this, this and this, and if only I could change this, this and this, then everything would be perfect. But wherever you go, you carry your mind with you. And therefore, the only perfect situation is the perfect situation where one has controlled their mind. And so many of us are in victim mentality, and that is actually what is causing our suffering. Because when you're in victim mentality, when you think, I'm the one who's unfortunate, then what happens is you're putting the control of your life into factors outside of your control. But the moment you realize, I'm only a victim, if my mentality is in victim mentality, then you take control of your own happiness again. Today, I will share with you for the next 20-25 minutes some ideas, and then I'll open it up to all of you and see what questions you may have. So please do think of what questions you may have. Today, I'd like to share with you the obstacles that you have in your life are not the obstacles. They're not the obstacles. The obstacles is our own mentality. And what is the mentality? The first mentality that causes problem in our life is the mentality that obstacles won't come. If we have an unrealistic expectation, definitely you will suffer. The second mentality is that obstacles are bad. And the third mentality is that obstacles are insurmountable. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, if you correct these three mentalities, Dukheshva anudvigda manaha sukheshu vigata spriha vitaragha bhaya krodha stita dhir muniruchate. Krishna says, if you correct these three mentalities, you'll become a sage of the steady mind. Let's go through these one by one. The first obstacle is the mentality that we have that obstacles will not come in my life. I want you to stand up if you have had some health challenge in the last 2 years. Can you stand up? Don't be shy. And I want you to stay standing. Okay? Now I want you to stand up if you lost someone you love in the last 2 years. No, still stay standing. Those who are standing. Stand up if you lost someone in the last 2 years. I want you to stand up if you've had a challenge in your career or finances in the last 2 years, or Australian citizenship. Dear friends, look around. Just take a look. Look around. Obstacles are a part of life. You can sit down now. Obstacles will come. Put your hand up if you accept in your life that obstacles will come. Very good. Put your hand up if when obstacles come in your life, you feel shocked. This is the problem. You say, oh, I accept it. Obstacles will come. Yeah, Krishna says, Gita, obstacles will come. But in someone else's life, right? Yes, obstacles are there in every country, but the country on the other side of the world, right? The first thing is in our heart, we have to accept that life in the material world means obstacles. Just accepting this deeply already frees you from so much pain. But the first painful thing is that we have unrealistic expectations. Does anyone know who this is? You are not tennis fans, huh? This is Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe was a great tennis player. He won Wimbledon. And at a certain point in his life, he contacted a heart condition, and for that heart condition he had to have a blood transfusion. And the blood transfusion that was supposed to save his life, they made a mistake, and instead he contacted HIV, terminal illness. The very thing which was supposed to save his life now sentenced him to terminal illness. All of his fans were writing into him, and one of the fans wrote to him and said, "Arthur Ashe, why is this happening to you? Why did God choose you?" And you know what Arthur Ashe's reply was? He said, in the world, 50 million, 500 million kids desire to play tennis. Of them, 50 million kids learn how to play tennis. Of those, 5 million learn professional tennis. And of those, 5,000 may reach the professional circuit. Of those, 500 may reach a Grand Slam. And of those, 50 reach Wimbledon. And of the 50 that reach Wimbledon, 2 will reach the final. And of the 2 that reach the final, 1 will win Wimbledon. He said, I won Wimbledon. And when I was lifting the cup, I didn't ask God, why me? And therefore, now I'm in pain. How can I ask God, why me? Do we feel as much injustice in all the good things that happened in our life as we do when something terrible happens? What about the fact that we can see, smile, love, laugh? What about the fact that we were provided all the material necessities? What about the fact that we were given so many opportunities in our life and protection from danger? Obstacles, the good and the bad, are all ingredients of life. And therefore, the first thing we have to understand is that there will be obstacles in our life. Earthquakes come. You don't know when they're going to come. You don't know where they're going to come. And you have no idea on what scale they will occur. Dear friends, earthquakes are not the only thing that are unpredictable. There will also be life quakes. Life quakes means sometimes relationships will break. Sometimes there will be difficulty in our environment. Sometimes we will undergo a difficulty in career and finance and our general journey of life. We may undergo a physical or mental decline in health. Or at some point we may have an identity, an existential crisis. Everyone in their life will go through between 5 and 10 life quakes. No one is exempt. Did they teach you in school how to go through life quakes? Did you learn in your maths class how to deal with the loss of a loved one? Did you learn in your English class what to do if suddenly you lose your job and you're in a financial crisis? We learn so many things at school, but the one thing that we don't learn is how to navigate the uncertainty and the turbulence of life. That's why spiritual education is so important. The second obstacle that we have is not just that we think obstacles won't come, But we have an inherent, impulsive, instinctive reaction that all obstacles are bad. However, we don't actually know what is good and bad in this world. Here on the screen, you're seeing the picture of an ancient story from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the story of someone called King Chitraketu. And King Chitraketu, after going through life, this was his realization. Guna pravaha etasmin ka sapa ko navugraha ka svargo naraka kova kim sukham dukhameva va. This material world resembles the waves of a constantly flowing river. Therefore, what is a curse and what is a favor? What are the heavenly planets and what are the hellish planets? What is actually happiness and what is distress? Because the waves flow constantly, none of them has an eternal effect. What is good and what is bad? Do we actually know? Chitraketu's life was like a roller coaster. In the beginning, Chitraketu was on top of the world. He had palaces, he had his queens, he had all material opulence, he had everything he could ever want. But then he was plunged into distress because he didn't have a son. In life, there's always a but. But then what happened is Angira Rishi and the other sages came to him and gave his wife a benediction by which he could have a son. So now he was on top of the world again. Now I got everything plus a son. But then the sages told him, your son will be known as Harsha Shoka. That son will give you great happiness. And that same son will plunge you into misery. Therefore, again, he was down. But then his son was born. And when the son is born, seeing the smiling, laughing, loving son, they forgot everything. And again, he was on top of the world. And then his queen, Kritadyuti, who gave birth to that son, every one of the other queens became envious of her. And therefore they poisoned the son and they killed him. Again he was plunged into distress. And then the sages had to come again. And the sages told him, don't worry, continue on, take the mantra and focus on Krishna. And again he became established in spiritual consciousness, extremely happy. Then later on, as he was established in spiritual happiness, then one day he came across Lord Shiva and accidentally he offended Lord Shiva and then he became cursed. He got cursed to become a demon, Vritrasura. Again plunged into distress. But then as Vritrasura, eventually he came face to face with Indra and Vritrasura offered beautiful prayers and the Lord became very, very pleased with him and again he perfected his life. What is good and what is bad is simply a flowing river. We have no idea. And therefore Chitraketu says, what can I say? This is the nature of life, full of ups and downs. And why does Krishna do that? Because Krishna is removing our attachments. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gives the example of a wedding couple. And the wedding couple went onto the boat at night and they decided to row into the horizon. So all night they were rowing and rowing and rowing. And when the sun rose up in the morning, they were in exactly the same place. It was like, how is it possible? Then they realized, oh, We didn't lift the anchor. We can chant, chant, chant. Read, read, read. Serve, serve, serve. But if the anchor of material attachment is down, then we might find we end up going in circles. So Krishna says, let me help you take the anchor out. And when something is stuck on the ground, if you just try to pull it, very difficult. Therefore, you have to go like this. So life, dear friends, goes like this. Are you scared? Has to go like this. Then, attachment comes out, then the boat can go. This is the reality. We wish our life was like this one on the top, isn't it? Straight line. Which one do you want? Straight one or the ups and downs? Ups and downs? Yeah, right. Which one will go faster? Krishna is saying, come back to me quick, 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 quick. Don't hang around here. So, which one is going to go quicker? Which one is going to bring us to Krishna quicker? We want a straight life. We want everything to be predictable, to be plain. We want everything to be within our grasp. We want everything to go according to our desires and plans. But maybe that's not what is going to bring us back to eternal happiness in the quickest way. So therefore, we should not think obstacles are bad. They are a part of a plan to bring us to Krishna. In London, I lived with one of our brahmacharis. This is a picture of him. His name was Janakinath. We used to call him JD. And this is him giving a TEDx talk. You can still see this talk on YouTube. It's called There Is No Negativity. And in the course of this talk, he was explaining his life story. And he said, many wonderful things happened in my life, but when I was 31, I received the greatest gift in my life. The greatest gift in my life I could ever have imagined. He said to the audience, do you want to see what that gift was? Everyone was enthusiastic. He said, this was the gift I received. At the age of 31, he had some stomach pains. He went to the hospital, no prior health issues. They sat him down and said, my friend, you have a tumor in your colon. It's stage 4. You have to start living as though you're twice your age. Your time is ticking. I wrote about Janakinath's life in a book called Loving Life, Embracing Death. He lived for another 5 years of his life. And in that 5 years, he accepted that this obstacle came to me for a reason. There was no resentment. There was no bitterness. There was no looking back and wishing things had turned out different. He said, now, I know life will never be the same, but life can still be beautiful. And so, instead of becoming dejected, disappointed, and disturbed, he said, let me help people. So he used to bring people, cancer patients, to the monastery and say, let's all live out our final days in happiness. He taught, he shared, and he empowered people to find meaning and hunger and enthusiasm, even in the most difficult news of their life. He said, I want you to take pictures of me when I go for chemotherapy, when I go for my surgeries. And I want you to show people that it doesn't matter how acute challenges you go through in life, life can still be beautiful. 3 weeks before he passed away, I was speaking to him and he said, you know what? The last 5 years of my life have been the best 5 years of my life because I've had the most fun. I made my biggest contribution. I learned the most things about life, and I actually got close to Krishna. I wouldn't change it for anything. That is the art of understanding how obstacles are not bad. They are Krishna's calling for us to upgrade our life to something else. I'm sitting here talking. I know it's not easy. I'm looking out at all of your lives and I'm imagining, I can only imagine the obstacles and struggles and difficulties that you're going through. But we have to try to change our mentality towards a more spiritually positive mindset. When change comes, when obstacles come, we have to think it's revealing new opportunities. We have to understand it's building my character. We have to understand it's helping me to remember what's really important in life. Problems bring a new way of thinking and allow us to explore a creativity that otherwise sometimes remains dormant. And when we go through struggle, for sure, it can upgrade our gratitude. If we take these gifts away from every obstacle we go through, then you'll find that the obstacle was the greatest gift you received in your life. The final thing I want to share with you is that people have the wrong mentality that obstacles are insurmountable. Someone may say, I agree, obstacles will come. I agree, obstacles can be good. But me, I'm weak. I don't have the realization. I don't have that kind of spiritual strength to face it with positivity. I don't think I can overcome this in my life. Therefore, Krishna says, Machita sarva durgani matprasada tarishasi athachetvam ahankara nashroshasi vinangshasi. Krishna says, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. But if you act not hearing me, you'll be lost. Don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big God is. Krishna, if He's on the chariot of your life, you can do anything. You can get through anything. We have to become closer to Krishna. Therefore, pain and problems, the great devotees who keep Krishna very close in their life, they learn how to take pains and problems and make them into purpose and progress. Whenever there's bad in your life, I'll share with you 3 final things to do. Number 1, when something bad happens in your life, remember to look for the good around the bad. When there's an obstacle, when there's a struggle, we tend to become so fixated on that one thing that we cannot see all the other beauty that's present in our life because we've become so fixated on one thing. See the good around the bad. Next thing, see the good that can come from the bad. Remember Chitraketu. How do we know what is good, what is bad? From the good comes the bad, and from the bad comes great opportunity. Always look for what good is coming. Never judge things in the moment. Be patient. Look for a higher perspective. And finally, when there is bad, ask yourself, what is the good that Krishna is trying to tell me to develop so that I can counteract the bad, so that I can deal with the good or the bad like that. So, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. Whenever you're going through a struggle, remember, the struggle is not the struggle. The obstacle is not the obstacle. The obstacle is our mentality. We think obstacles won't come, we think obstacles are bad, and we think obstacles are insurmountable. Therefore, the mantra is, adjust the expectation. Embrace the situation. Aspire for connection. This is the simple formula. Peace is not an absence of chaos. Peace is the presence of divinity, the presence of Krishna in every situation. That's what will bring peace. And so, the final question I want to ask you, does Krishna want you to have a comfortable life or an uncomfortable life? Uncomfortable. You look very happy about that. Krishna is your best friend. Of course, Krishna wants you to be comfortable. Why would Krishna want you to have a painful life? But dear friends, there are different types of comfort. Some people are comfortable in material life. Krishna says, this is not comfort. Some people are comfortable in spiritual life. Did you know? Even this isn't real comfort. Krishna says, I want you to be comfortable in Krishna consciousness. That consciousness is the real comfort. And you know what Krishna will do? He will move you from here to here. And you know how He'll move you? Obstacles, struggles, disappointments. And you know what? Once you're in spiritual life, don't think that's the end of the story. Krishna will move you from here to here. And what will He do? He'll bring more obstacles, more struggles, more problems, more issues. It's not because Krishna wants you to be uncomfortable, but Krishna wants you to be comfortable in pure spiritual consciousness. That is not cheap. So this is the opportunity of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the science of struggle. This is Krishna's wisdom. This is wisdom that breathes, not just theoretical. This knowledge, this wisdom can be applied in your life. And if you apply it, you will be a rare soul. Because you will be one of the rare souls in this world that can become unaffected by anything. And the science of struggle will actually lead you to eternal happiness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for being such an attentive, engaging audience. Do we have time for... Yeah, we have a little bit of time. I know there's a lot of people here, so you've got to be real brave to want to ask a question. But if anyone has a question or something I said which perhaps you'd like to know more about, Maybe you want to challenge me. I say, Swamiji, it all sounds very good. Be realistic. Maybe I don't know. What is on your mind? Would you like to ask any question? Anyone? Yes, okay. There's some hands here. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class.
If you can speak loudly into the mic, then we can all hear your question. That'd be great. Don't be shy.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. So I had this question like, what's the difference between
Comfortable in
spiritual
spiritual life?
life and comfortable in
I knew
Krishna
someone was
consciousness?
gonna ask that. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. We were in material life. Something happened which made us realize this is not going to work. I need to look for something else. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukratina arjuna artha jigyasu artharti gyani cha bharatarshava. Krishna says 4 types of people come to me. Prabhupada later on says, yes, 4 people come, but basically 1 type of person comes, the distressed. So we came from material life, we realized I need something more. We came to spiritual life. But what can happen in spiritual life is we can become comfortable. We can think, I come to the temple, I put my hand in a bead bag every single day, I open the Bhagavatam, and I put on tilak. Therefore, now I'm comfortable. Krishna is not so interested in that. Krishna is interested in your heart. He's interested in your bhakti. He's interested in you giving yourself, the soul, in relationship with Him, in selfless service. He wants to have that pastimes of love. And so, sometimes we're in spiritual life, but it's very external, it's very superficial. We are there right in front of Krishna, but still we're thinking of ourselves. And therefore, what will happen is that we will be moved to actually develop pure spiritual consciousness. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Yes, thank you. Yes, please take the mic. Hindi thoda sa Gujarati bolu chu. Gujarati bolo છો તમે? નહીં. Okay, તો હિન્દીમાં બોલો. Yeah, you speak in Hindi. I'll try. My Hindi, acha. Thoda. Will convert, okay.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare
एवरीवन।
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
मैं एक बात आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, सब किसी को बुरा नहीं लगना चाहिए, मैं माफ़ी मांगता हूँ इसके लिए। इस्कॉन का हर एक डिवोटी अपने नाम के बाद में प्रभु क्यों लगाता है? क्या हम इसके लायक हैं कि हम इक्विवेलेंट अपने आप को प्रभु के समान समझें?
So the question which is asking, why does the devotee in ISKCON add the name Prabhu after his first name?
Okay. Why do we call everyone Prabhu?
Yes. Why not Das? Why we know
Why Prabhu?
Das?
Very good question.
Yes.
So, we never call ourselves Prabhu. Me, Keshav Prabhu. No, we never call ourselves Prabhu. When we are referring to ourselves, we are Das. I'm just a servant. But when we look at everyone else is Prabhu. See, everyone else is Prabhu because even Krishna sees his devotees as Prabhu, isn't it? Once the sages, they were asking, who is the greatest? So one sage said, the sky is the greatest. Someone said, no. The clouds are greater because they cover the sky only. Another sage said, no, the wind is greater because it can move the clouds. Another sage said, no, the mountain is greater because it can stop the wind. Another sage said, no, the earth is greater because it's holding the mountain. Another sage said, no, God is greater because He's holding the earth. And then God appeared and said, my devotee is greater because he's holding me in his heart. But therefore, Krishna says, Aham bhakta paradhino hashvantantra ivatvija sadhubir grashtaridayam. He says, I am not independent. Krishna says, I am under the control of my devotee. They have become my Prabhu, my master, because their love has conquered me. Therefore, the Vaishnavas, the Bhaktas are very dear to Krishna. Therefore, we are very small. Ami Das. But you are Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. On your left.
I have to see. Okay, yes.
I have two questions which is related to one. Is why do we take excuse to discount or do our service to God? Most of the time we are late. Okay, we'll do chanting later or we'll do this service within 15 minutes. We'll finish it. Do we do it for finishing it or do we need to do it with devotionally and more spiritually is the first question. And second thing, with
let's go one by one.
Yeah, but
It's
the
okay,
second
what?
one is also related to this.
Related, okay, sure.
So with hard struggle, we'll try to sit for chant. That is the time the whole world miseries, everything comes that time. But when you're sitting on a couch, nothing comes in. But when you're chanting, the whole stuff comes into the mind. The reason I'm saying is we take excuses to make chanting or we do excuses for doing service. But with the whole struggle, we try to get in there. We sit to find peace, to get in touch with the transcendentalation. But no, the whole thing comes only at that time. The rest of the time, it's free. Why is that struggle? It's much bigger struggle than this. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice question. So let's begin with that one. Why is it that only when we are chanting all the thoughts are coming to our mind? Outside of that, we are peaceful. My question is to you, are we peaceful? Are we peaceful outside of chanting? We are not peaceful. All we're doing is we're bombarding the mind with so many things so that we can't actually hear the mind. We're constantly... When was the last time you saw one person sitting in one place doing absolutely nothing? Moment that there's nothing to do, you know what they'll do, right? iPhone 16. Start swiping. Because people can't stay with their mind. Therefore, what we're doing in the mind, it's not that our mind is pacified outside of chanting. It's just that we're bombarding it with so many things so we don't have to hear it. But the moment we sit down to chant, one person said to me, I can't stand silence. It's so deafening. In silence, my mind is screaming. So it's not that the mind is somehow peaceful and only when chanting it. It's always like that. But we realize in that moment how much our mind is uncontrolled. And so yes, we are chanting to try to free the mind. Mantra, manastrayate. We're trying to free the mind so that the mind can give up all these other thoughts and simply focus on spiritual things. So yes, don't chant to finish. Chant to relish. Don't read the book just to get through the book. Read the book so the book gets through to you. Right? Quality is important. It's okay? All right, thank you.
Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaji, for the nice class.
Sorry, where am I looking?
Maharaji here.
Oh, okay, yes.
And Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaji, I have 3 questions, but they are interconnected. So first, I would like to acknowledge with help of Krishna consciousness, I have started understanding differentiation of spiritual obstacles and material obstacles. But can I ask that when we have obstacles in material, should we stop? That, okay, this is the tested and this is the line we shouldn't like chase and go further and further. But with the spiritual obstacles, how we grow and keep moving further and further.
Okay, so when we are trying to pursue something in the material world, if we come across an obstacle, then is it just that we should stop there because the obstacle is teaching us just give up?
Maybe it's not destiny.
Maybe it's not destiny. So say for example, someone has an exam and they begin studying and there's an obstacle, I don't know, FA Cup final, football final or something, and they get distracted, I don't know. So should they just give up? See, what we're trying to do is we're trying to give the best effort. Whether it's material or whether it's spiritual, all we are in control of is doing our best. You have to give your best effort. You have to give your best endeavor. You have to give your best energy, your best attention. You have to try to act with intelligence. And once you've given the best effort, after that you can't do anything more. So it's not that we just give up at the first obstacle. We have to continue giving effort. But once we've given all of our effort, if an obstacle keeps coming and is not happening, then maybe we need to understand that maybe Krishna is pointing me towards something else. So we are not in control of the result. Karmanyeva dikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. We just have to try our best.
And with spiritual obstacles?
Spiritual obstacles, same thing. Same concept is there. We have to try. Srila Prabhupada wanted to spread Krishna consciousness. So he gave his full effort in India. It's not that just he had one failure and now Krishna doesn't want me. He tried many, many things. But then when it didn't work and he said, I've given my full effort here, now I have to try something different. So then he came to America. And then once the Americans became devotees, and then they went back to India, oh, Americans are doing. Definitely, very good. Then it took off. So, spiritual, material, all we're in control of is trying our best. That's all Krishna wants to see.
And Prabhuji, the last question. So with the last slide, when you said that Krishna has a plan for everyone, does Krishna choose people out of this whole like population and universe, people? Like who are eligible?
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priya. I am equal to all. I am not partial to anybody. But one who renders service to me, they become my very dear friend. So Krishna is impartial. But Krishna is also reciprocal. So Krishna gives everyone equal opportunity. But one who takes it up, Krishna becomes especially interested in them.
Because when you said that Krishna takes away the material attachment with the example of anchor, so I'm just having a thought that maybe when somebody is eligible to have Krishna mercy, they start removing all those kind of obstacles as attachments. It's like who are eligible.
Yes.
We can say that, to have mercy.
Yes, Krishna says, Yasyaham anugrinami harishe tadhanam shane. That sometimes my mercy comes in a very special form and I may begin to remove things. All right. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Last question. Okay.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj.
My pranams to you.
Yesterday I attended your session seeing face to face, and I had a question related to that and one more question related to today's session. Can I ask you both, Maharaj?
Yes, sure.
In regards to yesterday's session, seeing God face to face, I'm sure you must be practicing for very long. You must have read so many books. We read so many books. How you must have seen Krishna too. How would you describe Krishna through your eyes, not through the books you have read? Through your eyes, Maharaj, your experience.
Krishna wants to have a relationship with each one of us. Everyone has equal opportunity. Krishna is alive, he's attentive, he's affectionate, and he's active. Krishna is acting as much in your life as he's acting in my life. We may feel we don't see Krishna's face, but if we're very, very conscious and alert, then we'll see Krishna's hand at every moment. Therefore, what will I say to you? Even if I say to you, I've seen Krishna, I don't think that will help you. I think what will rather help you is if you ask the question, what can I do to see Krishna? That's a more important question, because you have to see Krishna for yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. You have to become convinced of Krishna's love yourself. Nobody else's testimony will be able to do it for you. So I don't stand in front of you as someone who's highly elevated, although I am 6'5". But yes, I would be lying to you if I say to you that Krishna didn't appear in my life. Of course Krishna appeared in my life. Krishna spoke to me. Krishna guided me. Krishna inspired me to make decisions. But that's not because I'm anyone great. Krishna is doing that for everyone. Krishna is probably more active in your life than you even know. But it's a matter of you being able to understand and appreciate that. And so the whole process is that Krishna consciousness is not about awakening a new consciousness. It's already there. It's an awareness that's innate within you, and it's a relationship which is already alive. It's just a matter of perceiving it. All right?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I have one more question. Maharaj, in regards to why me, we just saw a slide. I was thinking from 2 or 3 days, we hear a lot of times material detachment and how to detach ourselves from relatives, family, and be more spiritually attached. But how come and why is it that I lost the attachment with Krishna? How did I lose it? I don't even realize. I keep on listening that we have to detach from material things, but how did I lose my connection with Krishna? When? Why? It just doesn't connect.
Why are we here in the first place? That's the question you're asking. Why did we come to the material world? How? We exist in a relationship of love with Krishna. Krishna never forces anything. And therefore we have free will. Without free will, there's no love. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada explains that at one point we had a curiosity. We had a curiosity to want to experience what this material world was like. Now you may say, but how can we have a curiosity? The spiritual world is so beautiful. Why would we ever want to leave that place? Yeah, I've also thought the same thing. But Srila Prabhupada says, it's not that we were dissatisfied, but we had a curiosity. So, Krishna never forces. You want to be curious? You want to explore? Then let me create the material world. And then we come here, and then we become more and more entangled, more and more distant, more and more confused. But in a moment, if we turn to Krishna, then we can go back in a flash. One time they asked Srila Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said, 1 moment. That's it, 1 moment. So yes, we came here because of free will, and now you have the opportunity to go back out of free will. So when we walk out of the door today, we all have the opportunity to make decisions. If you align every one of your decisions with Krishna, if you give Krishna the first place in your heart and the first place in decision making, before you know it, you'll be with Krishna again. That's what Krishna is telling us. Alright, so thank you everyone so much. Appreciate your time. Okay, there's really someone who really wants to ask a question. Okay. Yes, go for it.
So Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the class. So my question is, so how do you find the beautiful things when your mind is more engaged into the bad things and an obstacle?
Okay. Yeah, you can give him a round of applause. It's a very thoughtful question. So how do you focus on the good things when the bad things are so loud? The bad things are so prominent that sometimes we're so disappointed and frustrated that we can't see the good. Therefore, we must have devotees in our life. If there's something that you can't see, then if you have someone who's very dear to Krishna and someone who has spiritual vision, then those devotees can help you see what you don't see. If you're wise, then when you can't see the good, then you can try to see through the words of scripture. And Krishna will teach us many things in the scripture and help us to see what we can't see. And so, the sadhus or the saintly people and the shastra or the scripture, they are the way by which we can see the good, even when our mind is overwhelmed by the bad. And therefore, always stay close to the devotees of Krishna and always stay close to the scripture, because that will give you spiritual vision. Okay? Hare Krishna. So thank you very much everyone. Really an honor to be here in Melbourne with all of you. I appreciate so many of you coming out this evening. It's really amazing. It's encouraging. I travel all across the world and I rarely see such incredibly wonderful communities as you have here in Melbourne. So you're very, very fortunate. You're very, very blessed in so many ways. And we pray that you all continue on going to higher and higher heights in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.